Apple Pie Day to everyone. So as I was saying, we acknowledge the Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett and Mrs. Scarrett, or the members of Cabinet, the Minister for Public Works, Public Utilities, and the Digital Economy, Honorable Fidel Grant, his PS, Mr. Emil Lancelot, various PSs who have joined us this morning, including the Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, contractors who are here with us, as well as some staff from the Ministry of Public Works, members of the media, those of you tuned in via radio, online, via television. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We are here this morning for the contract signing ceremony for the Road Edge Rehabilitation Works, and to tell us more about that, we immediately call on the Minister for Public Works, Honorable Fidel Grant, who will address us first.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me recognize the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, my cabinet colleagues, my colleague within the ministry, Honorable Hippolyte, other permanent secretaries, contractors, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today marks a significant day in our continued efforts to build back stronger. We are here for this contract signing ceremony where we undertake road repair and road rehabilitation at 6 locations. Later this afternoon, we'll be signing another contract just over $900,000 for the Collyho City fence wall. Today, the total of 7 interventions is at a cost of $5,809,362.13. Dominicans, the opposition elements do not like us to mention the words Hurricane Maria and Tropical Storm Erica. They want us to remain quiet about the destruction of our public infrastructure, which has gone on over the last 5 to 10 years. These severe weather conditions have never been experienced before. But 7 years later, we continue to undertake restoration and repair work to our road network, which has become vulnerable to these adverse climate conditions. I will now give you some details of the projects and the contractors. The Salisbury Box Culvert Crossing, the contractor, Caribbean Concrete Limited, the contract sum, $2,070,439.30. The ministry conducted an assessment of the box culvert crossing at Salisbury, which revealed that the 2-meter Amco pipe culvert, which was installed in the 1980s, has deteriorated. This failure resulted in significant depression in the road pavement, thereby posing serious risks to road users, threatening the stability of the road infrastructure. The construction of a box culvert crossing at Salisbury entails the reinforced box culvert crossing. This includes the demolition of the existing crossing in 2 parts. Rehabilitative works will be done 1 lane at a time to allow for the flow of traffic. Additional works include the reinstatement of a 40-meter asphalt pavement roadway and guardrails to ensure safety. Intervention number 2, the St. Joe Box Crossing, the contractor, IAH Services, the contract sum, $858,490.53. Following an investigation on the box culvert crossing at the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School, it recognized that there was a critical infrastructure failure. The culvert outlet had collapsed. The project involves the demolition of the existing 20-meter circular culvert and the construction of a new 20-meter box culvert measuring 1.6 meter by 1.65 meter, which is designed to handle the future hydraulic loads. The inlet will be reinforced with concrete with a catchment pit 9.73 meters in length. To mitigate further undermining of the outlet, there will be a 0.35 meter long wall, 6 meters high, with an integrated spillway which will be installed. These design elements will enhance the structural integrity and ensure the long-term sustainability, considering the specific hydraulic and environmental conditions of the site. Intervention number 3. The contractor John Elvis Sabroch. The contract sum $530,000, $535.25. The EO LeBlanc Highway experienced failure along the stretch of road, but significant damage was seen in the Biosh area. This triggered a shallow landslide which compromised the stability of the road shoulder. The construction of an 18-meter long retaining wall with a 4 meters, which is 4 meters high, with a base of 3.3 meters, is divided into 3 6-meter sections. The scope of work includes site excavation, installation of drainage systems to manage a runoff of water, the construction of a reinforced concrete retaining wall, and upon completion, the project road shoulder and pavement will be reinstated for safe and stable use. Intervention number 4. Bells road edge failure. For those of us who are familiar with Bells, that is just above the primary school area. The contractor, Green Rods Demolition and Construction, Inc. The contract sum, $860,619.75. We experienced road edge failure during the passage of the recent storms, and this is a critical area for those of us who travel to the Douglas Charles Airport. The project involves the construction of a 42-meter long, 6-meter high reinforced concrete retaining wall, which is divided into 6 sections. The stability to stabilize the road shoulder. It also entails the construction of a 66-meter slipper drain, which will be installed adjacent to the retaining wall to channel runoff water into the existing culvert to prevent future erosion. The project includes the unblocking of a 1.2-meter culvert, which is located 75 meters from the road edge failure, the restoration of proper water flow, and the prevention of future blockage. The work will include excavation, drainage installation, construction of a retaining wall, reinstatement of the road shoulder and pavement. Traffic management and safety measures will be implemented to minimize the disruption during the work. Intervention number 5. The contractor, George Trucking and Excavating Services. The contract sum, $446,000, $608.08. The project involves the construction of a 5-meter wall, 24 meters long retaining wall divided into 4 6-meter sections. The retaining wall will stabilize the road shoulder and prevent further degradation of the highway. The scope of works include the site excavation, installation of drainage, an erosion control system, and the construction of reinforced concrete walls. Upon completion, the road shoulder and pavement will be reinstated. The project also entails safety measures to include traffic management and signage to minimize any disruption. Intervention number 6 is the St. Joe Hillsborough Layu crossing, which is a culvert on your way to the Hillsborough Gardens Estate. We'll continue with the clearing of the debris along the highway, as well as earth dunes movements. The culvert is 9.2 meters long. The contractor, Francis Joseph. The contract sum, $126,000. At this time, I want to highlight and stress that all the 7 interventions will be carried out by our local contractors and locally owned companies. Surely, ladies and gentlemen, this government has confidence in our local contractors. But most importantly, we are committed to our local contractors and the business industry. The government and the ministry has placed emphasis on the safety of our road users. I would like to urge the contractors on the E.O. LeBlanc Highway as well as the Nicholas Liverpool Highway to make safety of your workers a priority, but also the road users. Please ensure that your equipment is packed properly when not in use and signage is placed for road users both in the day and in the night. Annually, the ministry carries out road maintenance, and currently we have 5 crews across the country involved in road patching. As we would have all seen, Hurricane Beryl have caused significant damage to the Roseau Bayfront. In the coming day, we will conclude resurfacing of the entire bayfront at just over $2.7 million. This is a major roadway for our citizens, but it also forms part of our tourism product, in particular cruise tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, I took the time today to list the areas where the work will be undertaken and the names of the contractor, because it is important for us to understand that this is done by our very own Dominicans. I want to make a special plea to our young men and ask them to go to these contractors and ask for work. Start at a level that you can nurture your skill and talent and propel you to bigger opportunities. There is so much construction going on right now in the country. We are creating opportunities for you, our young people, to gain meaningful experience. But you, our young people, you must go out and grab hold of these opportunities waiting on you. As I end, I would like to thank the Honorable Prime Minister, Roosevelt Skerrit, and the Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, Minister of Finance, for the support and guidance provided during the execution of these contracts. I'd also like to thank the Permanent Secretary within the Ministry, Mr. Emil Lancelot, as well as the CTO, Mr. Shaka Dangaben, for all their efforts in the preparation of these contracts. We look forward to successful completion. I thank you.
Thanks to Honorable Grant for the overview and the scope of work provided. We do take note of the information that all 7 contractors are local. We think that's pretty significant. So thank you so much, Honorable Grant, for the information provided. At this point, I'd like to welcome the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, the Prime Minister of Dominica, to address us.
Thank you very much. Let me recognize the Minister for Public Works, Honorable Fidel Grant, my other cabinet colleagues present, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, ladies and gentlemen, contractors, everybody, good morning, good afternoon. I'm very happy to be here that we finally come to the point of signing the contracts for these 7 important interventions. We will see work started almost immediately on those interventions. As the Minister indicated, these are 7 interventions, and of course this afternoon we go to Corleo for the signing of another contract for a section of the river retaining wall to protect the homes above the Zetma shop in Corleo. But our mission is to enhance road safety across the country. As you know, this government has spent an enormous amount of money since we came into government on improving road network in Dominica. When I became Prime Minister, every single road in Dominica was in a poor state. And in many parts of the country, no roads existed. None. And people criticize us for spending money on roads. But when I looked at the manifesto of the Labour Party under the leadership of E.O. LeBlanc, they said then that they were going to provide education, housing, they're going to improve agriculture, they'll build schools, and then below they said that to do all of these things, we need roads. You can't get to school if you have no roads. You cannot get to the hospital if you have no roads. You cannot get to your farms if you have no roads. You can't get to the markets if you have no roads. There are many parts of Dominica where the ambulance couldn't go to. There are many parts of Dominica where it was completely covered with mud. The second town, Portsmouth, Zikak, in 2004, had clay, mud, going to the health center above the Benjamin's Park, close to my Rodney's house. To get from Roseau to the airport, you have to, if you're a Catholic, you have to be saying the rosary while you're driving. Because it is a treacherous state. To get from Portsmouth to Roseau, it's another story. Every single road was bad. In my own constituency, LeBlanc cut some roads in 1973 and they were never paved until 2002 when I became the power player. And notwithstanding the impacts of so many natural disasters that we have had to contend with, we can say in Dominica that we do have pretty decent roads in our country. And I understand why governments before us did not spend money on roads. One, because they did not understand the importance of roads. And secondly, they didn't have the ability to raise the money to build those roads because they're expensive. It costs a lot of money. If you to tell any government that you're going to build a road from Wadiab to Hatton Garden and you will sell a contract of $127 million, they won't do it. Plus cost overruns. Redesigning this because of the storm in 2022, we realized that we had to redesign certain aspects of the road to address some of the observations that we had as a result of the freak storm in November 2022. When you drove from Roseau to Douglas Charles, every bridge was a single-lane bridge. Now we all drive on these bridges, two-lane, and we take it for granted, but they were not there before I became Prime Minister. And see how many bridges that we have built in the city of Roseau. Access in and out of Roseau. When I became Prime Minister, we were in two. The East Sealobok Bridge and the one-lane West Bridge. In very poor condition. When I announced to the country that we're going to build a road across the stadium, everybody said it will never happen. It's impossible. How can you build a road there? And now we drive across the stadium on the bridge and onto Rose Street as if it was always there. And you know, we don't speak about those things because we don't, as a government, as a party, because we're here to work, we're here to serve. But it's important for us to remind the nation of those things because sometimes people tend to forget. And if we don't tell people the facts and remind them of the facts, then there'll be people who believe that Dominica was really, we were driving on Velvet Road. And so when Dominicans are complaining about a pothole, I agree with them why they complain. I know why they complain, because they're so accustomed to driving on smooth road that all of a sudden you have a pothole, scared what happened then. So I myself behave the same. Anyway, I see a pothole, I message the minister. I say, look, let's block this up quickly. If we don't asphalt, let's use concrete for the time being. Because we got so accustomed to this. You know, when you don't have water at your home, a pail of water is important, eh? But when water flows from the pipe, you leave the pipe, as soon as you go in, you soap in and you use no wash rag and so on, and pipe running. But when there's no water, you will bathe in a cup of water. And you're okay. We take things for granted. So I'm happy to be here this afternoon. We could have signed these contracts quietly, but we wanted to bring some attention to this. And and these monies are going to come. You get paid. Make sure you get paid on time, okay, Chris? And others? This money, every month, and we started it during COVID time. Tell you how fiscally disciplined this government is and how responsible this government is. We started in COVID time, saving every month. We established a vulnerability reduction, risk reduction fund. And as difficult as things are globally, including Dominica, we have since 2022 saved $500,000 every month into that fund. And that's where we're taking this money now to do this. And there'll be many other interventions that we'll be doing as the weeks go by. A lot of water crossings, for example, from the Pokase roundabout to the Tarish Pit, the number of water crossings that we're going to be doing there, because we intend to resurface that entire roadway. But before you resurface the roadway, all of those water crossings must be replaced. And that's where you local contractors will come back in to do those for us. So we're going to be systematically removing all of these drums you see along the road in Dominica. We're going to systematically eliminate them. We're waiting for proposals from the Red Gully, because there's some excavation has to be done, and also this major bridge, the major retaining wall in Bells. That's the outstanding one we have to do. And we're waiting for some proposals from the Ministry of Public Works before we give consideration to a final approach to this. So we're systematically going to do this. So this is when I talk to the country about the importance of saving, I made reference to this some time ago, and I don't lecture people about what they do with their lives, because I'm only sharing my sincere views to people. I don't lecture anybody about their lives, so people do what they want with their lives. This is a democracy, and you understand. But we have to have a better culture of saving, as small as it is. When you have money, 1 + 1 is 11. It will build up. And just by saving, we have a pretty decent fund that if something were to happen to us, as we've seen, that we can come in and get that fund and to create work and address the safety issues. You understand? And so this is what we're seeking to do here. I'm so happy to be here to see so many of you here, the contractors there, all diligent contractors, local contractors, who are going to do a decent job in quick time to the benefit of the road users and the citizens of Dominica. I want to thank the Minister for Public Works and, of course, the Minister of Finance and the PS of Public Works and the Financial Secretary and others who played their part and the CTO others who played their part in getting us here today to this. So you're going to see systematically we're going to be addressing a lot of those edge failures. We did that in Maho, as you said. People will complain about the drums, and people drive as if, well, the drums are still there because they haven't said anything, you know. But this costs us some money. The minister mentioned on the Bayfront with burial and the sea surge, over $2 million just to resurface it. But we have to do it because that's a major tourism area, and of course, it is an important street in our country. And patching it would not have sufficed. And so you have to do a complete resurfacing, which may very well be affected during the construction of the Roseau Enhancement Project. It's just like the road to Castlebrose. We built 5 new bridges, but in building those 5 new bridges, Divine, we had to do 5 temporary bridges at a cost to the project, because we had to ensure people continue to get access to their homes and to schools and to church and to the credit unions and to the farms. I see the part for Rosa South there. I'll stop very soon, okay? But in Eggleston and Girardale and Castle Comfort never had pipe-borne water when I became Prime Minister. Girardale is a suburban area. But governments before me did not do it because they looked at water from an economic standpoint. If we spend all that money, how are we going to make the money back? How much are we going to pay? But in this Labour Party, we looked at it as a public health issue, as a need, as a public good. And we spent over $8 million. And we are utilizing a pump, running electricity 24 hours to pump water. And I remember the landowners didn't want to sell it until I had to go and negotiate with them, and I went all the way down where we have the pump, to city lands. In Goodwill there, in 2004, we had asbestos pipes going on to Federation Drive and to Santa Roma. So when people want to talk about what this government has done, I mean, and that's what I'm talking about roads alone there, And if I talk about other things, look now we're gonna have a direct flight from New Jersey. When Dominica was closed at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Christmas time, 4 o'clock dark, we closed. Since Labour came in, but night landing, flight plane at night, no, we're direct flights from Miami, direct flights from New Jersey. And mark my word, when this airport is completed, we not only have direct flights from Europe, but you'll see direct flights from China. So, yeah. And I have to say to you, in COVID, to save lives and to save livelihoods, and understand sometimes my emotion. So between Erica, and Maria, and COVID, we borrowed to respond to these shocks $637 million. For COVID alone, we borrowed $330 million to ensure that we save lives and livelihoods. Because we had to pay people's salaries or no money is coming into the treasury. Plus, we had to pay salaries of many private sector entities because they were going to lay off their workers. And I felt that when you have a difficult time, we have to ensure that the dignity of the human being is maintained, that he can put food on his table. And at no time we ran out of PPEs. At no time we ran out of test kits. And we're paying for a rapid test $20 per test. And just imagine buying 20,000 of those at one time. And we're paying for the other test, what do you call it again? The PCR, $100 of test. And we'll give it to you, all of you, for free. And everybody will test every day. For free. And we had people down at Portsmouth renting the apartments, 3 meals. When you were telling guys, time to go home, guys saying, well, go where? But man, are you okay there? You sure I don't have COVID? Check again. Guys want to stay there. May have internet, may have TV, may have afternoon snack. And if you came down there without roll-on and without cream and without a boxer and a vest, we get to you. Paid for. And we had one of the best rates of recovery in the world. COVID. Best rates. We had a whole hospital running in Portsmouth. You could do anything with patients in Portsmouth. And so notwithstanding all of these challenges, See where we are. We're building an international airport. And by the way, I'm inviting everybody to the official groundbreaking on November 9, 2024. You know, and I decided to delay the ground because, you know, groundbreaking is supposed to be done before you start work. But I felt that since LeBlanc time, since, as a matter of fact, since Barron time, because Barron was the chief minister before LeBlanc, they've talked about the international airport. And every government in the history of Dominica, both pre and post independence, have made an international airport the center of the development plan. And so Dominicans were wary of politicians and governments and parties, and rightly so, who said they would build an airport, an international airport. And I say, people will have hesitation. So don't want to break gongs. Let's start. Let us bring it to a point where you can see the runway. You can see the alignment of the runway. And so we're inviting all Dominicans. This is a national project. And just imagine what is happening by way of night landing, by way of the extension of the runway at Douglas Charles. Just imagine what the international airport would bring to Dominica. So we have many things to give thanks and give praise for. Many things. And that's what we need to do. You know, and of course tomorrow we have a party national council meeting, and I know the ministers are worried about whether he's going to come with a written speech or non-written speech and so on. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But thank you very much for being here, everybody. I want to commend the contractors for your diligence, and we look forward to working with you on these interventions, but there are many other interventions that we come in, and I will give you the assurance that we're focusing absolutely entirely on local contractors for all of those interventions I've spoken about. So sharpen your tools and sharpen yourselves as we work together to continue to build our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Certainly a lot to look forward to, including that groundbreaking ceremony that the Prime Minister just announced, November 9. All of you tuned in. As the Prime Minister said, you are invited to participate. At this point, we will sign the contracts, and the Permanent Secretary will assist us with that. I will call the contracting firm. You will make your way to the front, the representative, that is. We begin with Green Rose Demolition Construction, Inc., responsible for the road rehabilitation retaining wall at Bells. We move on to Elvis Sabroch, road rehabilitation retaining wall at Biosh. Francis Joseph, Hillsborough Rehabilitation. The representative of George Trucking and Excavation Services, responsible for road rehabilitation retaining wall at Penrice. Road rehabilitation including a retaining wall at Penrice. IAH Services to construct a box culvert crossing at St. Joseph. The representative of Ken D Construction, who will address edge failure at Roger. We move on to the representative of Concrete Limited, Caribbean Concrete Limited, responsible for a box culvert crossing at Salisbury, to address edge failure in that area. These are the 7 contractors who will engage in construction works totaling more than $5.5 million. Quite an injection into the construction sector, into the Dominican economy. And at this point, I call on the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Lancelot, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Honorable Fidel Grant, Minister for Public Works, Public Utilities and the Digital Economy, other members of Cabinet, Permanent Secretaries present here, staff of the Ministry of Public Works, contractors, members of the media, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Ministry of Public Works, Public Utilities and the Digital Economy, I want to take a moment to extend our deepest gratitude. Today represents a significant step forward as we embark on initiatives aimed at enhancing road safety and resilience through the signing of these contracts. First, we must give thanks to God for granting us the wherewithal to undertake these important projects. To the Honorable Prime Minister, I extend heartfelt thanks for your encouragement and leadership in advancing these projects to this point, and for giving us a historical perspective of the importance of investing in roads through your remarks today. I would also like to express appreciation to our Minister of Public Works, Honorable Fidel Grant, for his informative delivery. This momentous occasion would not have been possible without the dedication and hard work of the Chief Technical Officer and the staff of the Technical Services Division, as well as the cooperation of the contractors awarded these contracts. Our gratitude also goes to the Senior Administrative Officer and the staff of the Ministry of Public Works, along with the Ministry of Finance, who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that the procurement process was handled efficiently and swiftly. Your diligence, professionalism, and teamwork are greatly appreciated and serve the common good of all. To the media, our guests, and all stakeholders present today, thank you for attending this important event. Your support and encouragement are invaluable to us, and we look forward to your continued partnership on our development journey. Finally, as we look ahead, we anticipate the great work that will follow this signing, and we are excited about the positive impact these projects will bring. We also look forward to the cooperation and understanding of the public, as there may be some inconvenience felt during implementation. Once again, thank you all for being here and for your contributions to this significant occasion.
Well, thanks to P.S. Lancelot for such concise vote of thanks remarks. We thank you, sir, for your leadership and for organizing this event and being behind the one which takes place this afternoon at 4 p.m., as you heard from the Honorable Prime Minister, at the Qualiho Basketball Court, where we will sign a contract for the River Defense Wall in Qualiho. Those of you who live in the Qualiho area, you are invited to attend. The others of you who can't, please join us live for that event. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a good Friday.